We are starting our 5.1 notes today. So we're going to talk about triangle mid-segment. A triangle mid-segment is a segment connecting the midpoints of two sides of the triangle. So what that is saying is this point D is the mid-segment of BA, and this point E is the midpoint of BC, which makes that line right there the mid-segment. So an example of that mid-segment would be line DE. If a segment joins the middle points of two sides of a triangle, then the segment is parallel to the third side. Oh gosh, sorry, I'm sitting outside, the wind just started blowing. Parallel to the third side and half as long. So all that's saying is, if I look at this red line and I look at this purple line, if that is a mid-segment, that means that line AC, the red one, would be parallel to DE. So the red and purple lines are parallel. I also know because of that DE is 1/2, or I'd rather say AC divided by 2. It's the same thing, AC divided by 2, or AC is 2 times DE. So we'll practice that and it'll make more sense in a little bit. So right now we're just going to identify the parallel segments. So I'm going to draw my first segment. Let's call it, XY. So XY, line XY. Well, obviously it's parallel to that line right there. So it's parallel to QS. Line XW is parallel to RS. And I hope that you can see how they're parallel. And line WY is parallel to QR. All right. I would like you to do the same thing with number 2. Just pick out the line and then pick out which one's parallel to the other. Make your first one JK and FH. All right, after you do that, look down at number 3. Okay, we know that all these lines in the middle of this triangle are midpoints, they're mid-segments. So the directions say that PR is 46. It says that PQ is 40. And it says that LN is 17. The first line we need to figure out is LM. So I'm going to do it in purple because I know that it is parallel to PR. And I know that PR is 46. LM is smaller than that, so it's going to be half of that. So I'm just going to take 46 and divide it by 2. I get 23. So LM is 23. All right. MN. Well, I'm going to put that one in red because it is parallel to the other red one. Missed the line a little. All right. If PQ is 40, NM is half of that. 40 divided by 2 is 20. QR, whale. I'm going to put QR in blue because he's the big one and that 17 is the little one. So I know that instead of dividing by 2, I need that QR to be a bigger number. So it's really 17 times 2. and that makes 34. Now the only thing left that it's asking for is MR. Well, MR is that part right there of that line. And we know that it's exactly half of that line. So if we know that line is 34, we know if we divide it by 2, we're back to that 17. I would like for you to do number 4 on your own. Figure it out. Use the same information we used for the last one, and then look down at number 5. All right, we are going to do the same skills we used up above to figure out what x is. So the long side of this is 17x minus 18. I can just look at it and see it's the longer side. The short side is 7x. So should I divide 7x by 2 or multiply 7x by 2? If I divide it, it'll make it smaller. If I multiply it, it'll make it longer to be able to match that. So 7x times 2. 17x minus 18 equals 14x. I'm going to move my 17x to the other side. Now I have negative 18 equals negative 3x. Divide by negative 3 on both sides. I end up with 6 equals x. Woohoo! All right, and number 6, you can do it the same way. Write down your long side, and then write down your short side and multiply it by 2. Just to help you out a tad, I don't know where that 136 came from. Let's just make it 36. Equals 2 times 6x plus 31. And we're going to have to distribute. All right, see if you can solve that one by yourself. When you're done, flip it over to the next page. All right, we're going to use the same steps we have been using. I'm going to write down the long side. 11x minus 25 equals short side 4x plus 1, and we multiply that by 2. Distribute. 11x minus 25 equals 8x plus 2. I'm going to move my 8x over here. That leaves me with 3x minus 25 equals 2. Need to add 25. 3x equals 27. Divide by 3. X equals 9. All right, but it wants to know what DE is. So now I'm going to take that 4x plus 1, and instead of an x, I'm going to replace it with the 9 that I know x equals. 4 times 9 is 36 plus 1 is 37. So DE equals 37. I want you to do the same thing for number 8. Remember, the long side is 2 times the short side. And then after you figure out what x is, you need to plug it back in to RT to figure that out. All right, this one is going to take some coloring to do. So I'm going to start with ON. That's the short side. JK is the long side. If 42 is the short side, your long side needs to be double that. So our long side is going to be 84. I'm going to do the same thing with the 49. And its long side is JL. If the short side is 49, the long side is 2 times that, which would be 98. This says 98, I promise. And the next one won't be quite that easy because I have X's in here, but we know how to do it. If the long side is 13x minus 10, it's going to equal 2 times the short side, which is 6x minus 1. Distribute. 13x minus 10 equals 12x minus 2. I'm going to move my 12x. Now I'm left with x minus 10 equals negative 2. Add 10. X equals 8. But the question is really asking, what is the perimeter of the big triangle? So that big one right there. Well, we know that to find perimeter, we add all the sides. The first side, we've got an 84. The next side, we've got a 98. And the next side, we've got that 13x minus 10. That's ugly, but we know what x is. Instead of the x, we can plug in an 8. 13 times 8 minus 10, that equals 94. And then we just add all those up. 94. And they equal 276. And that's our final answer for that one. All right, 2 more. Let's look at number 10 and see if we can figure out the measurements of the angles. Okay, well, we know that if these lines are parallel, then this angle is going to be the same as this angle. So if that first angle is 59, angle 4 is 59 degrees. All right, and now we're going to figure out angle 5. Because angle 5 is on a straight line with angle 4. So all I have to do is say 180 minus that 59 equals 121. So we know that angle 5 is 121. Sorry, my dog is chewing on a bone very loud on the deck with me. All right, so now we just need to figure out 1, 2, and 3. Well, if we know that this angle is 127, we can figure out 2 by saying that's a straight line. I subtract 127 from it. I end up with 53 degrees for angle 2. So now that we know that angle 2 is 53 degrees, I look at angle 1, and well, I know they're the same. So angle 1 is also 53 degrees. All that leaves is angle 3 right here. Well, I'm going to look at the triangle as a whole, and we know that a part plus a part plus a part equals the whole thing. Well, we know one part is 59. We know that this part right here is 53. We don't know this part down here, so we're going to say x equals 180. When you work that out, you will come up with 68 degrees. All right, you do the same thing right here on number 11. To figure out what's the same. I'm going to go ahead and help you just a little bit. I'm going to let you know that angle 4 and angle 2 will be the same, and angle 1 and angle 5 will be the same. And remember that 1 is on a straight line right here with 118, and 2 and 3 are on a straight line with each other. You should be able to figure them all out. All right, after you do that, turn it in. Let me see it. You'll be good to go. Thank you.